debated essay with sources, otherwise known as the research paper. Here I'm going to give you lots of advice and the assignment parameters so you know exactly what you need to do while you're working so hard. Now, let's go over the Common Core state standards for grades 11 and 12 for this project. You want to write arguments to support claims and an analysis of substantive topics or text using valid reasoning and relevant and sufficient evidence. This is a key word here, substantive. It means worthy of study. You got to introduce precise, knowledgeable claims, establish the significance of that claim, distinguish it from alternate or opposing claims, and create an organization that logically sequences those claims, counterclaims, reasons, and evidence. You're going to want to develop the claims and counterclaims fairly and thoroughly, supplying the most relevant evidence for each, while pointing out the strengths and limitations of both in a manner that anticipates the audience's knowledge level, concerns, values, and possible biases. You also want to use words, phrases, and clauses as well as varied syntax to link the major sections of the text, create cohesion, and clarify the relationships between the claims and reasons, between the reasons and the evidence, and between claims and counterclaims. You also mostly want to establish and maintain a formal style. There is no I in this paper. There is no personal evidence from your own life. There is no opinion that starts with I. Since your name is on the top of the paper, everything is your opinion backed up by expert research, so we will not use I. Did I say that enough times? An objective tone while attending to the norms and conventions of the discipline in which you are writing, and that means all correct and proper citations. Provide a concluding statement or section that follows from and supports the argument presented. Finally, the purpose of this, it's a longer, more extensive piece of writing using sources and citations. For some of you, it's the first time you've written something this long. The purpose of this assignment is to provide you, the high school students, with experience of writing a longer paper and to explore areas of thought and content that are useful and or interesting in an academic setting. This paper, the audience for this paper should be written for the skeptic, the reader who initially does not believe your thesis to be true. That will help you out a lot. So you're going to choose a topic from idebate.org and write a logical, persuasive, research-based argument. Make sure you follow these guidelines closely and be sure to cite all information with in-text MLA format. So the database looks like this. It's got all these topics. You can choose any one of those. Within those, you'll find several different topics in blue there, and they're phrased this house would or this house believes, because that's the way a debate is phrased. You don't use that in your paper. Within each one, you'll find points for and points against, as well as a little summary. You don't want to cite anything from idebate.org. You don't want to use anything verbatim from here, especially from the point and counterpoint. You just want to use these as ideas. Points for will give you both that point and what someone might say to go against it. And points against will do the same thing, what someone might say and what someone might say against it. Also, you might see the graph, which has voting results before a debate on this topic and after a debate, what people said, as well as the most valuable part of this site, the bibliography. You can use these sources in your own research as well as ones that you find on your own. All right, so you're going to browse those hundreds of topics listed in the database. The topic of this paper must come from that site, and it could be the point or the counterpoint, but it needs to be something that is directly taken from that site. The reason for that is twofold. One, we know these topics are worthy of study, most of them. You still need to have it approved by me, but also because in order to help you, I have to become knowledgeable on your topics, all 54 of them. And the only way I can do that is if I have a very quick way to go to each topic and learn a little bit about it. So we're going to take all of those from iDebate to Database. So the first thing you do after you pick a topic and have it approved is do a quick free write paragraph about how you feel about that topic. Establish your opinion without doing any research. Then read as much as you can about both sides of your topic. Then you're going to research, take notes, and outline your argument. Make sure that at this point you start citing any sources that you use. Use Evernote. Evernote is one of the tools that we're going to use to make this process easier, and you will find that if you use it, you will be glad that you did. It's a great way to organize your notes. Draft your paper. The draft is due Monday the 21st by the start of class. And then we'll all peer review. You're going to love reading 10-page papers like I do. You're going to edit, revise, and proofread your paper in those last couple of days. And then your paper this time goes right to turn it in before 2:15 p.m. Wednesday, December 23rd. No late papers will be accepted. So I don't want you to stress about this. You're not going to create a title page. You're going to use MLA formatting. We're going to go over all of this. But it must be typed. Times New Roman, 12-point font, double-spaced, 1-inch margins. Be very careful to make sure you go to the spacing menu and remove space after paragraphs so you know exactly how long your paper is. Your finished paper must meet the length requirements in order to be eligible for grading. If your finished paper does not meet the minimum length requirement, it may not be graded. Don't take that chance, my friends. Students in the past have handed in papers short one line of 10 pages, and they have received a 0 for the paper. When assigning the paper, somebody always asks me, would you really give us a 0 for one line less than 10 pages? I usually say, would you really take a 0 for one line less than 10 pages? For crying out loud, write one more line. The last page of your finished paper will be MLA formatted, works cited. All pages will have a header with page numbers, and of course, again, submit your finished paper to turn it in no later than Wednesday, December 23rd, 2:15 p.m. Your paper must be at least 10 full pages, no maximum on that, not including the works cited page. Even if you're taking this course for high school credit only, you must still follow these requirements. Late, incomplete, plagiarized, or incorrectly formatted papers have a chance of not being graded. Please follow the directions closely. This is probably one of the most important things I'm going to say. Loss of network privileges, home internet connection, personal computer or school computer malfunction, none of those are an excuse for late or missing work. Work smart. Save your paper in more than 2 places. Print your paper anytime you like. Use your class time wisely, and that means ask questions while you have me in the room. The final copy of this paper is worth 200 points in your average. Failure to complete this assignment will jeopardize your ability to have a passing average for the quarter and perhaps the semester. This paper is also part of the final portfolio assessment and counts again there. So we're going to go over how this is used to, how this rubric is used to grade. Let me turn down Bob Marley here. He's in my head. I can't concentrate and sing at the same time. All right, so your claim. You want to have a claim, a knowledgeable claim based on information that you've learned in a clear thesis statement, and you want to address all aspects of the prompt. You want to provide sufficient and relevant evidence to support that claim, integrate it with credible sources or text evidence, competently refute any counterclaims, and use specific rhetorical devices, and we're going to talk about that, and that is this column here. Now, as we said before, I'll go back a slide, what you aim for is proficient. If you would like to be advanced, you must try a little harder and make that leap over into advanced on your own. I'll tell you that a lot of these papers, some sections, the way they are as drafts, fall in below basic or basic, so it's very, very important that your draft is due on time, that it comes in on have some feedback. You want to provide You want to orient the reader to your topic in the introduction, develop the claim with relevant body paragraphs, and it'll be lots and lots and lots of them. Provide a conclusion, use linking words and phrases and clauses within and between paragraphs, and make sure you have a logical progression. You're going to be able to get lots of points on this section by doing the outline. You want to make sure you show that you know what you're talking about and you use valid reasoning. We're going to talk about some faulty reasoning. You want to use correct and varied sentence structure, errors and conventions to a minimum, competently use all the vocabulary that needs to be used. And of course, always ask questions if you're unsure of what to do. Here's how to get answers from me in order of speed of my response. Raise your hand, call me over, ask me, person to person, like real people do. If that is not convenient because we aren't in the same place, the quickest way to get an answer from me is to use the chat on Remind. And if you are not on Remind, you're going to want to get there one way or another, because I'm going to send out lots of reminders and updates by Remind throughout this project. You can also email me. You can use a Facebook message, and your last resort is a Moodle message, because I will not see those or respond to them in a timely fashion. Okay, so this is what I know. This is what I'm sharing with you. I hope that if you have questions, you'll ask, and good luck. I'll be there with you right till the very end.